amount of folic acid that they need. 2 tablespoons. Very simple. We talked about bananas being very good. We said they're high in vitamin B6, carbohydrates, potassium, and magnesium. Now, did you guys know that you're able to go to your doctor and say that you would like a vitamin panel done? We call it a vitamin/mineral panel. Because sometimes if you say, I want my blood work done, they're not going to check all your minerals and vitamins. I just found out when I looked at my labs that I had done in September, there's nothing for magnesium on there. There's nothing for vitamin D on there. But these are crucial. Magnesium and vitamin D are like your 2 crucial things that you need in your body. They focus on calcium, but if you don't have the magnesium, calcium is not going to do what it's supposed to. If you don't have the vitamin D, like we talked about this morning, the calcium is not going to do what it's supposed to do. And in order for the vitamin D to do what it's supposed to do, you need the magnesium in the body. So medical science is starting to realize people are very deficient in magnesium and vitamin D. Do you guys remember what's the name of the test for vitamin D, for the test? Because if you're low in vitamin D, what's the less you want to be? Nanograms. How many nanograms did I say this morning? Do you guys remember? 50 nanograms per milliliter. This is we want greater than 50 milligrams. Now, medical science used to say 20, greater than 20. Now they're saying, I'm sorry, I put less than. Now they're saying greater than 25. That's half of what it should be. Dr. John Cannell, Dr. Scott Grievous is from Wildwood. John Cannell, he's not, I don't know if he's Christian or not, but he's known as the authority on vitamin D. They both say 50 minimum. If you have autism or you have a child with autism, 80 to 100. Alzheimer's patients, 80 to 100. This vitamin D level needs to be up. Now, if it's less than this, you're going to have a lot of problems. How many functions did we say vitamin D was responsible for?
Over 2,000.
Over 2,000 hormonal functions, that's right. So make sure when you go to your doctors next time, ask for a vitamin/mineral panel done. Tell them you want a complete vitamin, every vitamin and mineral that's important and crucial to your health. Tell them you want it. And say including magnesium, because some think it's crucial and some don't.
You say vitamin and what?
Mineral panel. Oh, and here's the test. I didn't write it. You want what's called a 25 hydroxy. This is the vitamin D test. You do not want the 125 hydroxy. These are the names of the tests when they check for your vitamin D levels. This one, 30% of doctors do this test, and this is the incorrect test. So make sure you let them know which one you want done. Say, I would like the 25 hydroxy. While we're still able, we can utilize this. If we have the insurance and we're able to. You want to know about these things. Okay, things to stay away from if you have anxiety. Anything that is a stimulant or stimulating to the system. What's the #1 stimulating item? What did someone say? Caffeine. Very good. Caffeine. Ladies, would this include chocolate?
Yes.
Absolutely. What else would it include? Sodas. Is Mountain Dew caffeinated?
Yes.
Yes, it's caffeinated. Don't let the light, clear color fool you. It's caffeinated. What about decaf coffee? Is that caffeinated?
Yes.
It's 10% caffeinated. 10 to 20%. Okay? Now, do you know why women crave chocolate? Around when every month do the women crave the chocolate? Right before that cycle, right? Do you know why? They're losing what? Blood. What's in the blood? It's an iron deficiency. That's right. And when someone's craving chocolate, that's the very first indicator that somebody may be anemic. Craving chocolate and cold. But this one especially. Okay? And if they're chewing ice, that's another indicator that they're anemic. I used to chew ice all the time. Every pregnancy, I chewed ice. Moment I gave birth, I didn't chew ice anymore. That now lets me know I was craving, I was requiring iron in my body. Okay, what's another one? Vinegar. Anything stimulating is not to be given to any person with anxiety. So when you're dealing with anxiety patients, of course you want to teach them the laws of health, but these items you really have to help them exclude from their diet. Okay? Meat. Cigarettes. Alcohol. And last but not least, spices. What does spices cover? Let's name. Nutmeg, mace, cinnamon. I heard cumin, no. I heard cumin, no. There may be something to come out later, but I heard no on the cumin. What about cayenne? Is that a spice? It is. What about black pepper? Now, on the cayenne, we can use it medicinally. Did Sister White use coffee medicinally?
Yeah.
Yes, when she was on that ocean and she got seasick. They say be very careful. We used to eat this every day. We heard, oh, cayenne's good. We were eating it every day. It can raise your blood pressure. If somebody's low in blood pressure, it can bring it up. If you know somebody's low and they take it, it'll bring it up. Have them suck on it under their tongue for 20 minutes. Just stick it down and just suck it. It will bring up the blood pressure. Yes, it will stop a heart attack in its tracks. But if you use it on a regular basis, it'll increase your blood pressure. So you don't want to eat it on a regular basis. What does the prophet of the Lord say? Should we eat any spices?
No.
She says spices are to be eliminated from the diet. Yes,
And the black pepper will burn a hole in the stomach.
that's right. Black pepper. You know the number one group of people who have ulcers are the Hispanic. What do they eat? They eat a lot of peppers, right? Chili peppers. And there was a contest between an older man and his younger friend, and they wanted to have a contest. Oh, I can outdo you. And they got this hot sauce, hotter than, they said it's like 20 times hotter than any Tabasco you've ever had. The older guy was hospitalized in 20 minutes, just from 1 teaspoon. It put a hole right in his stomach. Yes. So we want to stay away from them. Now, regarding the mind, in graduate school, this is from Dr. Magna Parks, what she said. In graduate school, you've heard of bulimia, right? Bulimia is where people stuff their face and then they make themselves regurgitate, and we use the word emesis to produce emesis, vomiting, so that they'll lose weight. In graduate school, students are taught that bulimia has to do with being a dysfunctional family. She said the most ridiculous thing that they teach. And the mother is too controlling. That's why the people do it. So the person gains control by eating as much as they want and then throwing up afterwards. But even in this book, even though that's what they teach, she said they will tell you the foods to eat for bulimia. It's all plant-based diet. Now she said there's a lot of cuckoo stuff being taught in psychology. I know people who have great families who were bulimics because they wanted to be skinny, because they thought, you know, being 100 pounds at 5'10" was the way to be because of what they see on television. So she said, but even though they taught that, they said that whole grains, salad, and fruit were necessary for mental health. This is in the worldly institutions. So should we be teaching that as a people? Whole grains, salad, and fruit? Absolutely. In many cases, things going on with the brain have to do with certain food items that need to be increased. Now I'm going to go to volume 2. Let me give you an example. Page 40 through 51. I already discussed this with you guys for a little bit. This is volume 2 of Encyclopedia of Foods and Their Healing Power. On pages 40 through 51, at the top is a brain on each page. These are the food items that are crucial all the way to page 51. These are the food items that are crucial for the brain. The beans, the nuts, the seeds. It shows you in here the whole grains, the rices. It talks about food for, let me show you. let me go in order here. It talks about food for, I went too far. Here we go. Food for anxiety, food for hyperactivity, nervousness, mental fatigue, insomnia, anorexia, epilepsy, Alzheimer's, stress, bulimia, depression, Parkinson's, neuralgia, dementia, schizophrenia, multiple sclerosis, headaches, and migraines. What diseases did I just discuss?
Mental.
Name. The ones having to do with the mind, right? So if you want to know what foods are good for what parts of the body, this is an excellent book to get. Because these are the things that we need to be teaching. If you have kids that are hyperactive, what do they call hyperactivity? What's the word?
ADD.
What?
ADD.
Well, you have ADD and you have ADHD. This is attention deficit. She knows because she's a teacher. I'm sure she had to deal with a lot of them, huh? Hyperactivity disorder. This one is just attention deficit disorder. This one doesn't have hyperactivity. This one does. Okay? According to Dr. Magna Parks, there was a lady who had a child that was about to be put on Ritalin. She called Dr. Parks and she said, "What do I do?" Dr. Parks put her on a program. Guess what? The first two things, shouldn't even touch diet. Now, we're dealing with what? The mind, right? Prophet of the Lord said, what's connected? The mind and the body, right? The body and the mind. And she said, this is something very delicate, and we should understand it. When this lady told her, my son's hyperactive, now see, if they would have told me that, first thing I would have said is food coloring, sugar. Guess what? The first two things that she said that this child cannot have. When you're dealing with ADHD, but this should be a rule for everyone. What does that say?
No cartoons.
No cartoons. And she said that includes the Christian cartoons. Do you know we're counseled not to do animation?
Yep.
Yes. Do you know that we're counseled not to do plays and skits and theatrics and stuff like that? Absolutely. In child guidance and Adventist home, we're counseled these things. She said no cartoons and no video games. When she took these away, she'd already, I believe she was an Adventist doing healthy foods. When she took those away, in 2 months, hyperactivity was completely gone. They never had to give her the Ritalin. How long did we say it takes in most cases for disease to be gone?
1 to 2 months.
1 to 2 months. That's right, 30 to 60 days. We may not understand many of the diseases of the mind, but just apply the laws of health and you'll see healing happen. But also, why not video games? Let's talk a little bit for a second about these, a minute. Do you know that they say when they play video games, it causes a disturbance in the brain waves for children? Because is the mind supposed to be idle? Even though they're trying to figure out stuff, the mind, they said, is still idle. And because of all the action and it triggers a synapses at the wrong time. So it misfires in the brain. And so they said video games is not good. You know what she tells these parents to have their kids watch? You know what she tells these parents to do? Nature videos. And she tells them, how many in here have children? I do. Do you know that boys today in 2010 and 2011 are being labeled like crazy in the public school?